The first chore list my daughter-in-law ever handed me wasn't written on paper. It was spoken, coldly, like she was assigning work to someone she'd hired. Clean the downstairs today, wash our clothes before dinner, and polish Ethan's shoes. She looked me directly in the eyes. Then she smiled. If you want to keep living here. I looked past her. I had my own family photographs still hanging on the wall. At the staircase, my late wife, Margaret, had painted herself 28 years earlier. At the house I had paid for with 37 years of overtime. Then I quietly said, "All right," because sometimes the loudest answer is patience. My name is Raymond Collins. I am 70 years old. I retired from the United States Postal Service after 41 years of delivering mail through snow, rain, heat, and holidays. I buried my wife 8 months ago. Margaret was the kind of woman who believed every guest should leave your home feeling warmer than when they arrived. She baked extra pies just in case. She remembered birthdays nobody else remembered. She always told our son Ethan one sentence: never mistake someone's kindness for weakness. After she died, Ethan cried harder than I had ever seen. At least, I thought he did. 3 months later, he and his wife, Vanessa, came to my house one Sunday afternoon. "Dad," Ethan said carefully, "our apartment lease ends next month." Vanessa reached for my hand. "We only need 6 months." I looked around the quiet living room. Every room still echoed with Margaret. Maybe company would help. "Of course," I said. "This is your home too." Those 6 words changed everything. The first week went well. Vanessa cooked dinner. Ethan fixed the fence. They thanked me constantly. Then little things started happening. Vanessa moved Margaret's rocking chair into the garage because it made the living room look old. She replaced Margaret's curtains with grey ones because beige was depressing. She began introducing the house to her friends as our place. Every time she said it, Ethan stayed quiet. Silence can become agreement if you leave it long enough. A month later, I noticed something else. Vanessa no longer asked. She instructed, "Raymond, could you vacuum while I'm shopping?" "Raymond, don't forget to take our dry cleaning." "Raymond, make sure dinner is ready before Ethan gets home." She stopped calling me Dad, stopped saying please, stopped pretending. I still said nothing, not because I was afraid, because grief had made me tired. The morning everything changed began with that list. She stood in the kitchen holding her coffee. Without looking up from her phone, she said, "Today's jobs." She slid a piece of paper across the table. "Clean both bathrooms. Wash 3 loads of laundry. Iron Ethan's shirts. Polish our shoes. Mow the lawn." Then she added, "And don't forget to scrub the oven." I stared at the paper. "Ethan can help after work." She laughed. "My husband works." I looked at her. So did I. She shrugged. "Not anymore." Just then Ethan walked into the kitchen. I expected him to say something. Anything. Instead, he picked up his keys, looked at the list, then looked at me. "Dad?" He sighed. "Just do it." I waited. "If you want to stay here." "Stay here, in my own house." Now tell me honestly, if your own child spoke to you like that inside the home you built, would you answer back immediately? Or would you stay silent and let actions speak louder than arguments? Comment "I'd answer back" if you couldn't stay quiet. Or comment "Quiet wins" if you believe the strongest revenge never raises its voice. I folded the paper carefully, placed it into my shirt pocket. Then I smiled. "All right." Vanessa looked pleased. She kissed Ethan goodbye. The 2 of them left for work. At exactly 9:15 that morning, I made one phone call. Her name was Karen Mitchell. She had been Margaret's attorney, and ours, for 23 years. Karen answered immediately. "Raymond?" "I think it's time." She didn't ask what I meant. She simply said, "I'll be there in 30 minutes. Karen arrived carrying a leather briefcase. We sat at Margaret's old dining table, the same table Vanessa had been talking about replacing. Karen opened a file I had not looked at since Margaret's funeral. Inside was something Ethan had completely forgotten. The house was never mine alone. Margaret had insisted years earlier that it be placed inside a protected family living trust. Not for taxes, for protection. The trust contained one unusual clause. If any beneficiary or family member attempted to remove, intimidate, manipulate, or interfere with the lifetime resident's peaceful enjoyment of the property, Their future inheritance could be suspended indefinitely. Karen looked at me. Has your peaceful enjoyment been interrupted? I slowly removed the chore list from my pocket, placed it on the table. Then I handed her 3 weeks of photographs. Pictures I'd quietly taken. My recliner moved into the basement. Margaret's china packed into storage. Labels Vanessa had placed on kitchen cabinets saying, "Our food, our shelves, our space." Karen didn't speak for almost a minute. Then she said quietly, "Margaret knew." I looked up. "What?" Karen opened another envelope. A handwritten letter, my wife's handwriting. "Ray, if you're reading this, someone has confused your kindness with permission. Promise me one thing. Never spend your final years asking for permission inside the home we built together." I had to stop reading. The words blurred. Margaret knew. She had seen something before I had. Karen gently pushed another document toward me. "All I need is your signature." "What is it?" "A notice terminating their right to occupy the property." I signed, not because I wanted revenge, because I finally understood something Margaret already had. Mercy without boundaries eventually becomes permission. At 4:30 that afternoon, certified notices were delivered, one addressed to Ethan, one to Vanessa, both informing them they had 30 days to vacate. Their inheritance rights under the trust were temporarily suspended pending review. At 6:10 they came home. The house looked exactly the same, except for one thing. Their chore list was gone. In its place sat 2 envelopes on the kitchen table. Vanessa opened hers first. She laughed. Then she stopped laughing. "What is this?" Karen had timed everything perfectly. She stepped into the kitchen from the living room. "I can explain." Vanessa looked confused. "Who are you?" "I'm the trustee representing Mr. Collins." Ethan opened his envelope. His face lost every bit of color. "Dad?" Karen spoke calmly. "Mr. Collins is the lifetime resident and controlling beneficiary." She looked directly at Vanessa. "You cannot assign duties to the legal owner of this property." Vanessa tried arguing. "We were just helping." Karen held up the chore list. "Is this your handwriting?" Silence. "And this?" She produced photographs of Margaret's belongings boxed in the garage. More silence. Then she read one sentence from the trust aloud. "Any person creating a hostile living environment for the lifetime resident forfeits future beneficial interests until restored by unanimous trustee approval." Vanessa looked at Ethan. "What does that mean?" He already knew. "It means—" His voice cracked. "We're out." The room became completely still. Ethan looked at me. Real tears filled his eyes. "Dad, I didn't think—" "I know. You should have." Vanessa finally exploded. "This is ridiculous." Karen calmly closed her folder. "No." She looked around the kitchen. "This house belongs to a man you tried to turn into your servant." The next morning everything had changed. Not because I celebrated, because the house was quiet again. Margaret's rocking chair came back into the living room. Her curtains returned to the windows. Her china went back into its cabinet. 3 weeks later, Ethan came alone. "No, Vanessa." He stood on the porch holding a toolbox. "Dad?" I opened the door. He looked around. Everything looked like home again. "I came to fix the loose porch step." I smiled slightly. "It doesn't need fixing." "I know." He lowered his head. "I just needed a reason to come." We sat on the porch for almost 2 hours. He admitted Vanessa had convinced him that taking control of the house was preparing for the future, that I was too old to manage things. I asked him one question. "When did you stop seeing me as your father and start seeing me as an obstacle?" He couldn't answer, because there wasn't one moment. It happened little by little, the way respect disappears, quietly. Vanessa moved into an apartment after the separation. Ethan rented a small place nearby. He visits every Sunday now, not to inherit, not to inspect, just to mow the lawn and drink coffee with me. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't. The silence feels different now. Healthy, respectful. Margaret's letter stays inside my desk drawer. Every few months I read it again. The sentence that stays with me most is still the shortest one. "Never ask permission to live in the home you built." My daughter-in-law thought one chore list would make me forget whose name was on the deed. She was wrong. Because houses are not protected by locks, they're protected by the people willing to remember who built them first.